Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pedalhead Show. I'm Benjamin Grzinski here. I hope you are all doing well. Today I'm going to be adding a kill switch to my Les Paul Gold Top with its James Hetfield signature EMG pickups. I discovered this mod on a Reddit forum that will be down in the description below for you to follow and check out yourself. I'll do my best to guide you through this mod that anyone can easily do to their EMG solderless pickup configuration. First, let's talk about what you'll need to complete the mod. First off, this mod will require some soldering. If you aren't comfortable with soldering, I'll direct you to the EMG website where they have an entire solderless EMG branded kill switch that you can buy. Okay, so that being said, the list of things that you'll need is number one, a single pull, single throw, on-off, non-latching switch. Mine is at 1 amp, 125 volts, but the voltage shouldn't matter because we're going to be wiring this to the output jack, grounding the output jack, cutting the signal. Next, you'll need the EMG output quick plug with 2 wires, white and black. With the white, that goes to the hot or the tip, and the black that goes to ground. Okay, need these. Next, you'll need a stereo output jack. Okay, this one. We'll be plugging the quick plug onto the tip and sleeve, and then we'll be soldering the 2 wires over top of the back here. Right, and then we'll need some wire that's used for guitar wiring. Mine's purple. The wire I'm using is 300 VHU 22 GA VIO standard, and that's all you'll need. And also essentials for soldering, your soldering iron, and some solder. All right, guys, well, let's go solder up this kill switch so it's ready to be plugged in to our EMG system.
All right, guys, now we're looking down here at the soldering board. I have all my supplies in front of me. Here we have the stereo output jack. We're gonna plug the quick plugs from the output to the tip from the white cable and the sleeve from the black cable. Like so. And we're gonna put it aside for now. Here's our single pull, single throw. We're gonna take 2 pieces of wire at about equal length. And then we're gonna strip the ends of each wire. So now I'm taking the end of each wire, feeding it into the lug of the single pull, single throw switch to get ready to solder. There we go. Soldering the components together to one of the lugs from one of the wires, attaching the other wire into the other lug. Now adding solder to that. My preferred solder for wiring components is 6040 resin core solder. Make sure that neither of the wires are touching each other from each lug. So I'm just pinching any excess wires to that particular lug so it doesn't cross over. A little extra solder. And there we go. Our single pull, single throw, normally open switch is ready to be wired to the output jack. Now, first thing I'm doing here is tinting the other ends of each wire so they stick onto the solder that's on the output jack easier. I'm applying a lot of solder. The solder kind of just seeps through the quick plugs and goes right to the lug from the output jack, but I was able to get the solder to rise above and stick onto the wires. If I was going to do this mod again, I would maybe hardwire instead of using the quick plugs, but as of right now I have no issues. But if any issues arise, then I might take it apart and hardwire this instead. So there we have the tip attached to one of the lugs of the single pull, single throw switch. Now all we have left is the last wire to be soldered to the sleeve by the black wire. Adding solder. And there we go. We have that other wire soldered to the sleeve of the output jack. There's my soldering job. Now it's time to take this output jack with a kill switch and install it into my Epiphone Les Paul Classic. Okay, now we're taking the back plate off of the guitar. Removing the power supply. Removing the output jack cover. And then we're disconnecting all of the jacks from the bus. Now we're plugging in the power into the ring of the stereo output jack. I have it plugged in here, but I found out that I was actually using a normally closed kill switch. For this mod, you want to use a normally open. Luckily for me, I had a normally open switch as well. That was a bit bigger. So here we have our single pull, single throw, normally open switch, the right switch. And here is how we have it wired up. I took this from the EMG manual website. So we're going from the output of the bus into a master tone, and from the output of the master tone, we're going to the output jack. Now here we have the single pull, single throw switch. And here is how this mod should look. So before, in my Epiphone Les Paul, I had 2 volumes, 2 tone. Now putting this big switch in, I don't want to drill an extra hole into my guitar, so choosing to have one bridge volume, one neck volume, and one master tone to have the other existing hole in the guitar for the kill switch is more ideal for this situation, but this is how I'm wiring it. The kill switch I'm using is quite bigger than the 25K tone pot that was originally in the guitar, so we might have to do some drilling, and I'm not excited for this part. So here I have my Epiphone Les Paul Gold Top. I have a 1/2 inch hole driller. And as we see, we're not really in a circle here, are we? But luckily for me, this really ugly hole fit my kill switch perfectly. Now, because I had to change the switch, I had to unsolder the wires from the output jack to feed them in through the top of the guitar. And after I got the kill switch properly fastened to the guitar, I had to go resolder the wires back onto the output switch. You know, this step you can ignore if you're going to be using a smaller switch, but just so you can follow the steps I took. And here I'm fastening the kill switch to the guitar. And there we go. Okay, now it's time to put the guitar cavity back together. I'm removing the output jack cover from the old output jack and putting it onto my modded one. Be very careful not to have any of the wires disconnect while you're doing this. Trying to lay the wires in somewhat of a nice fashion. Easier said than done. Place my 212 volts in there for the 24 volt mod. Placing some foam. And a microfiber cloth. Seems very snug. Putting back on the control cavity plate. All right, let's test this thing out.
All right, welcome back. Here we have my Epiphone Les Paul with the James Hetfield EMGs set at 24 volts with the modded kill switch. So right now I'm running 2 volumes, 1 master tone, and the kill switch is connected to the tip and the ring of the output jack. So when I hit the button, it kills the signal by sending all the signal to ground. So it grounds it out. When you're playing through distortion, it has a lot more of a really harsh stutter. If you're going through clean, you get kind of like a popping sound. So I don't really know if anyone uses a kill switch for clean stuff. I think that's more of a volume knob thing, if anything, right? So not a big worry there. Now, I was lucky to have this extra kill switch lying around. Because I guess not every forum is correct. I looked on this forum about the mod, and it says you can use a normally open or normally closed. So I used normally closed, and it was sending to ground the entire time, except for when you press the button, and then you got signal. So it was like it was working in reverse, you know? Couldn't have that. So I was lucky to have this one kicking around. It's a little bit bigger. And I learned 2 things by doing this mod. Yeah, all the Reddit stuff isn't correct and you got to try stuff out, you know? But the second thing I learned was before you drill in your guitar, make sure that you're going clockwise, not counterclockwise. So I went counterclockwise and it's got a little edge on it right there, you know what I mean? If I took it off, it looks pretty ugly. Fits really good, doesn't go anywhere. This switch is a little bit more sturdy, a little more. You gotta have a little more give. And, you know, I might switch it out later on for something else, but it's a normally open switch and it works great. So just to recap, we take 2 wires and we solder to the switch. And then from the switch, we go to the tip and ring of the output jack. We solder on top of the quick plugs that go onto the stereo jack. And that will send, when you press the button, send your signal to ground and give you a kill switch. For about the cost of all the stuff and labor, I think maybe it would cost me about $20 to do this mod. And if you want to go for the EMG solderless one, by all means, and they're about $50 to $100 right now on Amazon. I'll put a link of that in the description below. But anyways, let me know in the comments below who's your favorite kill switch artist. You're like, everyone's going to say Buckethead. Everyone's going to say Buckethead. But Tom Morello comes to mind. And then besides that, there's not too many kill switch artists out there. So everyone, do this mod to your EMGs. Or look it up online how to do it to your normal pickups and have fun. Now, one thing I want to say about the kill switch as well before I end this video here, and that's when you're playing on the lower strings and you do the kill switch, the signal stays very linear and you can continue on moving up and down the frets while doing the stuttering effect. But when you go to the tenor side, you get a little bit more less sustain. And I think that's because of sending those smaller signal values to ground and then pulling them out of ground takes away some sustain. So I figured out how to fix this issue, and that is if you're playing with a phaser, that kind of doubles your signal, keeps it going in and out of phase, and keeps your sustain going. I think that's what Eddie Van Halen said about the phaser. So using a phaser helps working with a kill switch, and I think using a whammy pedal is like a no-brainer. If you're into Tom Morello or Buckethead, you know that using a whammy pedal with a kill switch is just the way to go, for sure. Delay, I found delay was pretty cool. It would kind of keep the stutter of the past, taps floating by as you play the next note. That was pretty cool. Obviously, I did this to an Epiphone. I would not do this to a Gibson. I would not drill a hole into a Gibson, right? But if you got EMGs and you want a kill switch, you can go for the solderless version that EMG offers. It's great. But it's a pretty fast and simple mod that works really good. Just 2 wires to the output jack and you're ready to rock. Anyways, that's the end of my rant for today, guys. My name is Benjamin Grzinski from the Pedalhead Show. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Who's your favorite artist who uses a kill switch? And I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care and stay safe. Killing it.